Oh, come on! Doesn't get any more tenuous than that. Hang on a sec. James, back the truck up. Big intro first. Who's our next guest?
Well, our next guest takes to the oceans in the brand new episode of the Grand Tour, and for his new travel series, Our Man in Japan, has the unique claim of playing the part of a Japanese animated dog. Luckily for us, he's not animated, he's not a dog, and he's not in Japan anymore. He's right here. It's the one and only James May!
Good morning, James.
Good morning, thank you.
James, why didn't you tell me it wasn't as easy as you made it look?
What?
Hosting car programmes, for heaven's sake.
Oh, I see. I was hoping you weren't going to bring that up, Chris,
No, well,
to save awkwardness.
It's the elephant in the room, for heaven's sake.
Yeah, no, it's not easy. But no, this isn't easy.
No,
the
I
media
know.
isn't easy.
No, I
People
know,
think
but-
it is. It's all terribly hard.
But you know you're really good at hosting a motoring show when you don't even need any cars on it, because the news is out now, isn't it? The new Christmas special doesn't have cars on it.
No, there isn't a single car in it. Well, apart from one that you see drive by at one point, but otherwise it's all boats and a few bicycles.
Now that's
it's
confidence for you, isn't it?
It's very on message, Chris.
No,
it's
but
very modern.
But you know when you're hearing like. You hear a band at Zenith, from the past, like the Stones or the Beatles. When they're in such a groove that they can do anything. They are fearless. You're there now with the Grand Tour when you can do a 90-minute Christmas special without any cars.
Yeah, but I mean, I think it's a long time since anybody saw us as a car show. You know that.
No, I know that, but...
So the cars were a theme, if you like, and
No.
boats aren't that different, apart from that they don't... the main difference between boats and cars is boats aren't where you left them, and my car always has been where I parked it, as a general rule.
But you did find
boats drift off.
Another narrative of this Christmas special of yours is that you do find boats where people left them because there's a particular reason for that. So tell us as much as you want us to know about your Christmas special without blowing too much that's in it.
Okay, so it's a typical Grand Tour special in that it's an adventure and a journey, except we use boats instead of cars. We're in Vietnam and Cambodia, or I should say Cambodia then Vietnam, on the Mekong, and we are quite surprised at some of the things we find that are to do with very pertinent topics, such as the environment.
So did you set out with that in mind?
No,
Really?
no, of course not. I mean, we know it's an issue. We know that things like damming the Mekong is an issue. That's been known for a long time. But we thought we would have... I mean, the bits... I don't want to give too much away for people who haven't seen it yet. And why haven't you? It's been out since midnight. But the big lake, we expected to be powering across that, and that would be a glorious display of boatsmanship. But nobody spent most of the time stuck. It was so shallow. There was so little water in it. It's an eighth the size it should be. The rainy season should have started by the time we were there, and it hadn't. And in some places, the water was less than 2 feet deep.
Right, so have you been slipping and sliding towards this issue for a while now, and then you sort of discovered this particular situation and you thought, let's just deal with it in one big swathe?
The environment, you mean?
Well, yes, absolutely. The carbon emissions, there, everything that goes on with it.
No, I don't think we didn't plan it. I don't think we've been slipping towards it, but it was undeniable. Once you see the effects, now it's a complicated issue. It's partly about damming, it's partly about unstable climate, and then that in turn affects the livelihoods of a great many people, because a lot of people depend on that body of water one way or another, fishing, transportation and so on. So it would be facile in the extreme to say, oh, my boat is stuck, where's all the water going? I wonder what's caused that. Right. So...
But so what hijinks can you get up to when modulation isn't really an option?
Oh, massive hijinks, like getting out of your boat and standing in 2 feet of water to get some net out of the propeller, standing in a sewer, lots of standing around. The great thing about boating in an area like that is if you have a big accident, you can get out and stand and have a look at it.
And did you divvy the boats up? Is it a 3-boat challenge? Was it supposed to be a 3-boat challenge?
Yeah, we chose our own boats. It's exactly the same as we would do with cars. You choose your own car, and then when you turn it, they just go, ho, 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 why have you done that, you idiot? It's, it's going to go to a certain extent.
It sounds so simple, doesn't it, when he puts it like that, and it really isn't.
It's a very fragile formula, as you know, Chris. It's difficult to sustain. But yeah, so we've got sort of comedy contrasting boats, and that's all great. That's sort of comfortable. That's what you would expect us to do. And then you think now there'll be some jinx because they'll crash into each other and one of them will drift off or whatever. But what we had to confront was the near impossibility of doing what we set out to do, because
You can't drift on land.
You can't drift on no water. No. It's
So did the boats? Did each of your boats have a signature theme? You know, a
yes, it's mine.
bespoke theme, as it were.
The theme of Jeremy's is war, obviously, because that's what he likes. So he's got a Vietnam War era patrol boat.
And where did you source that?
That was, I don't want to give too much away, but he had that made effectively.
Right.
It's a kit car of boats.
A kit boat.
It's a you'll know what I mean if I say it's a bit of a Dutton.
Yes, of course.
It's a bit of a fake Caterham.
Yeah.
Hammond has a speedboat because obviously
He wants to be Miami Vice still.
He's a bit brassy, and I've got
Gentleman's cruiser.
Well, no, I'm going to
old-fashioned
say no. It's not a yacht. I'm going to say somebody asked me the other day because it's very old. Mine. It's wooden. It's not fiberglass or anything. It's all wood. And
Is it clinker?
Clinker built. Yes, it is. I know what that means. You're not going to catch me out with that.
No, but you like your boats anyway. I
don't know anything about boats. I chose one that I thought would be comedic and interesting.
You look like you sail.
I can sail a dinghy, yeah, but anybody can do that.
No, they can't. That's such a middle-class thing to say. Anybody can sail a dinghy.
But they're not sailing boats, they're motor boats. They're motoring boats.
Oh, I see.
Somebody asked me, did you keep your boat? Are you going to bring it home? And I said I thought about it, but I realised it wouldn't fit in my wood-burning stove, so no.
So what things...
I had a bad relationship with it.
Do you still live in the same house that I know you've lived in for a while?
No, we knocked it down.
Okay, but you're in the same location?
Same place, yes.
Okay, so what do you have from shows in the past? What has meant so much to you that you said, can I take that home, or you just sneaked it anyway, or whatever?
A few small things like a hat, the badge off a car, which is all that survived of one of them. But I do have my beach buggy. If you ever saw the episode where we did beach buggies in Namibia, I kept that. I was in a bit of a state, but I had it rebuilt and restored to the way it was on the TV, and that's in my garage. And I look really sensible driving that.
Okay, and how big is your garage?
Cool, this is getting very personal, Chris.
Okay.
No, I've got a garage in the country at our little Hobbitsy cottage.
That's nice.
That's got 3 bays in it, one of which has a beach buggy in.
Okay, and I'm
nowhere near the beach.
I'm guessing there's more motorbikes than cars in your life.
Slightly.
Just because they take up less room, or
they take up less room, and they're sort of quite fetishistic motorcycles.
All right,
you can take them to bits and put them back together again quite easily.
You've been Grand Touring since 2016.
Yes.
4 series in?
This is our 4th series, in effect.
So
yes.
and the series drop when?
Well, this one drops today.
No, this isn't a series. It's just a one.
No, but the series. This is where it gets confusing because we shouldn't really use the word series. It's misleading. This series is 2 big specials,
right?
2 big feature film length specials. This one is out. We filmed the other one. We haven't quite decided when it will.
Can you tell us anything about that one?
Yeah, I think it's well known. We go to Madagascar.
Right.
It's in cars, most importantly. Mm-hmm. There is a piratical theme to it, let's say, okay. and we crave your indulgence with that one. It's a very, I'm going to say it's a very long sketch, but I think quite a good one. I mean, it's still in edit. So.
But nobody minds because they just want to be in your company. They want to have you in the living room. They just want to have you on the telly, you 3.
Well, I hope so. I can't see any other point to us, apart from that, really.
Well, you have one other point, which we can talk about as well, because on Amazon Prime Video, you've got this new solo project, I don't know how else to describe it, called Our Man in Japan. Now, that is so you, because Our Man in Japan, which is, was it 6 episodes?
6 episodes, yes.
6 1 hours.
Yeah.
There's only one thing better than going to Japan anyhow, to find out more about it, is going there and getting paid for it as well. And you've got 6 1-hour films in Japan.
Yeah.
How cool is that?
It was very cool. We were there for 3 months. It was. It's the biggest thing I've ever done. It's actually the longest I've ever been away from home. Is that a bit tragic and pathetic? I don't know.
No, but Our Man in Japan, Our Man in anywhere else now forever. Whose idea was this?
It was mainly mine.
Because you had an idea about going around Europe on a bike as well, didn't you?
Yeah, well, the original one was Tour de France. That was going across, not actually doing the Tour de France, because that would kill me within 15 minutes, but riding around France on a bicycle with someone else. I was going to choose a sort of sparring partner, and that was going to be a sort of culture, wine and food and male health. The idea was that I'm at that age where I should address male health issues like fitness and not being stooped and all those other things. And let's do it. Let's embrace it by getting on a bicycle and riding across lovely France and eating a lot of cheese and so on. But they said, no, that's far too self-indulgent. But then when I suggested Japan, which is a place I'd always wanted to go back to, having been there many times for work, they said, yes, that's good. You can go and do that. So off I went to discover what it means.
I tried to watch it last night, but my Amazon Prime Video encrypted link didn't work. But I hear it's really, really good.
Thank you.
No, I do.
I hope
from
it
somebody
is.
who I believe.
Who was that?
Sally,
yes.
I've known Sally forever. So here we go. So episode 1 from series 4 of the Grand Tour, and there's only 2 episodes, so make the most of them.
Yeah,
right?
but they're long.
Is available today. That's from midnight, and it's available Christmas, of course, because that's how it works. And James May, our man in Japan, 4 series available. So all episodes available on the 3rd of Jan, all 6 1 hours.
Yes, that drops as what used to be called a boxed set.
Right. Okay.
In one go.
Now you've also been up to something because you've got your own YouTube channel. How very dare you? At the age of 56, called Food Tribe, because you got. So your other thing is Drive Tribe, but you've got your Food Tribe going as well.
Yeah, Food Tribe is a spin-off from Drive Tribe, which is it's a sort of combination of Twitter, YouTube, and Reddit, probably. So it's a sort of car likers community where you can post videos, have chats, discussions, debates, arguments, and all that sort of thing. And because the format works and the tech, the interface on your tablet.
Listen to
I know
him.
this is. I'm hesitating because I'm going to start sounding like one of those
17-year-olds.
17-year-olds dot entrepreneur types. But we thought, cars are great, but cars are quite exclusive in a way because most people can only own one at a time and probably only gets a new one every 5 or 10 years. Yeah. It's difficult to be really engaged with it as an interactive hobby. But food. Everybody eats. Yeah, everybody can have a crack at it.
What people don't realise, you may not know this, Noel, and the rest of the gang, and the Snow Patrol guys, you only review 70s food.
Well, no, I've been doing... It's not just me. I mean, there's loads of other people involved.
I thought it was just you, and it's just 70s food, and the last one was Spam, and what was it?
Spam versus Ham was one of the... It's specifically sandwiches of the 70s. I know some people are taking this terribly seriously, but I'm merely saying that... But, the 70s were a dark time on the whole. And we need to remind ourselves that it wasn't as glorious as we may now believe. And one of the ways of reminding yourself is to eat the authentic sandwiches of the era, and they're pretty bad.
They are pretty bad. So let's do it. Can you remember your favourite sandwich now from the 70s? My favourite sandwich was tinned salmon with loads of vinegar and white pepper on, prepared by my mum.
That's posh.
On white bread. No, and they didn't get it very often. But the sandwich that I got most often was salmon paste.
That's coming up. No, we've got paste versus paste. Versus paste versus paste.
What's that?
Banana sandwiches.
See, I know banana and sugar sandwiches my mates used to have, but I couldn't get on with them at all. With margarine.
Just have banana sandwiches.
Banana sandwiches good.
Did you come up with the top 5 in the end? Is there a definitive top 5?
I'm sorry to say we haven't finished yet. We've got the paste that you mentioned, like Shipham's paste, in the little jars. 75 pence, you can still get them, and you can make at least 6 sandwiches out of them. But we've got paste versus paste versus paste versus paste. We've got 4 types of paste. We're having chip butty versus crisp sandwich coming up.
Oh, that's close.
Crisp's going to win.
No, do you think so?
Well,
crushed crisp.
Which flavour crisps would you put in a crisp sandwich?
No, I wouldn't. I put my favourite crisp is salt and vinegar, but in a sandwich I put cheese and onion.
No, salt and vinegar in a sandwich. We're on the same.
Yeah, you can't put cheese and onion in your sandwich because you have to reserve cheesy flavour for grated mousetrap cheddar and Branston pickle sandwich, which we've also done on white bread.
By the way, we set some mousetraps ourselves at our house last week, and we actually put cheese in because we thought that's what mice like because of Tom and Jerry, but it's not, is it?
It's not true, no.
It's not at all. Right, Gary, how old are you? Gary Lightbody, Snow Patrol.
43.
It's 43. So do you qualify for the 70 sandwich debate or not?
Yeah, about 76 I was born, so...
Not really.
Not really, no.
79 and a half, you'd be 3 and a half.
I'm an 80s sandwich guy.
Come on, they give us the next era. Top sandwich. Your favourite sandwich in the 80s and the one you had most often.
The one I had most often was probably cheese sandwich with too much butter in it. A dairy sandwich.
A dairy sandwich.
That was pretty much
dairy on dairy.
Corned beef, brown sauce. That was a big one. Yeah.
Classic. I would go 70. I would have probably have gone on to just a regular fried egg sandwich on a regular basis. Maybe.
Fried egg sandwich is good. That endures the fried egg sandwich.
Or maybe I moved on to Baps by then. Flowered Baps, yeah. Which part of the world are you from? I can't remember. The northwest, James.
But isn't it a barm up there?
This is actually, yeah.
Bap is Derbyshire, isn't it?
Yeah, I just bapped it today. We could balm it another
You
day.
could have cobbed it.
Yeah, could have
You could have balmed it.
Could have balmed it.
You could have bunned it.
Baguettes and ciabattas. What was going on with those all of a sudden?
No, that's 90s.
No,
I think what happened in the 80s is, I need to do a bit more work on this because I'm not person to be an expert, but in the 70s, sandwiches were, a lot of things were distinguished only by colour in the 70s. So you had white bread and brown bread. There was no whole grain, there was no...
Well, to be honest, it's white bread and Hovis.
Exactly.
There
That's
wasn't any
exactly
other
what it
brown
was.
bread.
But there were no qualifiers. There wasn't like shade-grown white bread
Well,
or
you have half and
5 grade.
half. Do you remember the half and half loaf? Which was half thick and half thin.
What?
Thick and thin loaf from the Breadman.
Not in the 70s.
Yeah. Only in the 70s, in wax paper.
Well, I need to investigate this. I had no idea. Why would you want that?
Thick and thin, because you want... because you're on a certain budget, right? And you'd have half for toast and half for sandwiches. You're thick and thin.
So is the thin sandwiches and the thick toast?
Bingo, my friend.
Wow. So actually, the best thing since sliced bread was half and half sliced bread. That was even better than sliced bread.
Our producer going, get Snow Patrol to play a song.
I have to say that Rachel simply left in the middle of that.
Only because she's got a bulletin to prepare. It's quite an important one today, as you can imagine. A friend of mine was on the radio yesterday, and he couldn't talk about the election, and that's usually his job. And so he said, what are we going to do for 3 hours? And so what he wanted to do was get various legendary biscuits, right? And he would bite into one, and just from his bites, listeners would have to phone in and say which one they thought.
God, that's tremendous. That's a great idea. Oh, yeah.
You're going to nick that?
Possibly.
Okay, all right. It's more of a radio than a YouTube thing, but I'm sure it is nickable one way or another. So we'll have the travel, shall we, first? Yeah, so we'll have the travel, which will be a minute, and then we'll have Snow Patrol.
Chris Evans Breakfast Show with Sky Q.
James May, Amazon Prime Video.
Virgin Radio. Travel.
That's where his products are. We're talking about episode 1 from series 4 of the Grand Tour, and Our Man in Japan from January the 3rd. Grand Tour episode 1, series 4, available as of midnight. Just gone. See, gentlemen, no ladies here at the moment. Rachel has the news to do. But gentlemen, this is the risk you run when you talk about favourite sandwiches. Text machine inundated, in meltdown. You can talk about anything you like, but if you talk about your favourite food as a kid, then forget it. I'd like to add banana and ready salted crisps as the ultimate 70s sarnie combination, says Catherine, old school. You can't beat a toasty topper chicken and mushroom, says Gavin in Plymouth.
Chicken and mushroom sandwich.
I know, toasty topper, by the way. Kelly in Bath, you've got to have a smoky bacon crisp sandwich in there.
Possibly. I'm still going for salt and vinegar.
Can I just ask everybody else, when you made your sandwich, your crisp sandwich, did you put the top layer of bread on and then did you crunch it down with your fist?
No, it's funny you should say that. Two running themes, memes almost, of our sandwich making series. One is that you only put the butter or margarine on one piece of bread because we're hard up and we were poor but we were happy. And the other one is no matter what sandwich you're making, even if it's one that's meant to be fluffy like the grated cheese, you have to go pat. You can't eat it if you haven't gone pat on the sandwich.
But I would go fist just to crush all the...
if it's crisps, absolutely.
Or you crush the crisps up in the bag and pour them onto the sandwich.
Or you just use one piece of bread, you put the crisps on sort of in one half of it and then fold it over and then give it a proper smack with the chopping board or something
and
like that.
The text message machine continues to melt. Yeah,
People, this is important.
No, of course it is, and it's Friday and everybody's in that kind of mood and it's Christmas. Right, Snow Patrol playing for us next. I do believe we have Open Your Eyes, a classic from the band's albums. Eyes Open, the best-selling album of 2006 in the UK. Ooh! Selling 1.5... Slip that one in. Selling 1.5 million copies and 6 million worldwide. Woo! Okay, the beers are on Snow Patrol, everyone. We've got other guests to come. We're getting loads of texts about sandwiches, James. Thanks for this. The whole show's been hijacked by sandwiches. New government, 364 seats to the victors, and we've got millions of texts about top sarnies.
Governments come and go, but sandwiches stick around forever.
Obviously. Biltong and blue cheese. It's a bit fancy, isn't it?
Ooh, that's very fancy.
Warren, the South African, Kelsaprice. Di in some set regarding James May's discussion of 70 sandwiches. It's not just his discussion. It's all our discussion. Does anyone remember sandwich spread? Yeah, we've done that one, haven't we?
Yeah, we've done. That's in Egg versus Egg, if you'd like to look it up.
Egg, was that one of your episodes?
Yeah.
Egg versus egg.
Egg in salad cream versus egg in sandwich spread.
Okay, and what type of egg?
What do you mean, what?
Well, what do you mean? Don't be like
dinosaur egg. No,
it's fried egg, boiled egg.
No, boiled egg, of course, yes.
What do you mean, of course? My mum used to chop up...
You wouldn't put a fried egg in salad cream. That would be... I mean, don't be absurd, Chris. It's got to be boiled egg, chopped up with a little wire slicer.
I thought you meant sandwich. Okay, so you're making an egg sandwich spread? is what you do.
Effectively, yes.
In a Pyrex dish.
I agree with you about fried egg sandwiches, but they have to be kept separate and sacrosanct.
Okay, do you do that thing where if you get the yolk perfect with the fried egg sandwich, right, you have the catching slice of bread that catches the yolk
Yes.
that otherwise would be solidified by the coldness of the plate?
Of the plate, exactly. Or would go down your chin.
Oh,
and
we'll do
make
the
a
news in
stain.
a minute, all right? Everybody knows what's happening in the news. The Tories have won the election, all right? Here's the weather. No, sorry, we will do it in a minute. Adam in Wakefield, crisp an apple with butter and then crushed down. Don't forget peanut butter and golden syrup sandwich. That is a whole world of pain to me.
Oh, no, I like that.
Yeah?
Yeah, we were looking for something interesting to do with peanut butter, which I love, but actually golden syrup I'd completely forgotten. Now I can see the tin very clearly in front of me, so yes, whoever that was will try it.
Is it over the 70 sandwich thing, or are we now reinvigorating it?
I think, well, I was beginning to think we must move on to make something like cheese sauce of the 80s, but now we've had this discussion, I think we might sustain it for a bit longer. It has a very mixed reception, weirdly. Some people take it too seriously and say, how can you eat that stuff? And I think, well, I don't. We used to eat it in the 70s,
Yes,
so
of course.
it's a historic, it's like Victorian farm, only it's 70s sandwiches.
There you go. Kirsty says prawn cocktail and salad cream sarnie. Yes or no?
Quite posh.
Okay. Anybody? Are you losing interest? You seem to have glazed over.
No,
a little
no,
bit.
I was
glazed over. No, and are you still in?
We're in.
Okay.
I was going to tentatively add Philadelphia and Bovril to the mix.
But,
Ooh.
but I don't believe that you've ever had that.
Oh, no, the whole time. And now I've gone veggie. It's a Philadelphia and Marmite. It's really good. I mean, that endures, that sandwich.
Yeah, that sounds quite good, but when did we first have Philadelphia in
that's
Britain?
just your favourite sandwich now. This is
No, this is 80s, 70s, 80s.
Oh, 80s, 70s,
Yeah.
70s.
I think you're creeping into the 80s, but that's fine. We can move on to the 80s when we've
Okay.
exhausted the 70s.
It's 11 minutes past 9. The 9 o'clock news is coming to you soon. Gary and Kim from Ringwood. What about a fried onion sandwich in thick, crusty white bread with loads of butter?
Fried onion.
Yeah.
Just onion.
Yeah.
Unsure. Sounds a bit French.
All right, should we go to the news now?
Nah, let's keep going with the sandwich.
It's 11 minutes past 9 and apparently the Tories have still won the election. Let's just check if
With
that is
Sky
actually the
Q,
case, shall
The
we?
best entertainment all in one place.
Here's Rachel.
On DAB Digital Radio, on the app, and on your smart speaker. This is Virgin Radio News.
This is brand new from Haim. It's called Hallelujah, and it's our favourite new current record. Ben Stokes has been with us this morning, the cricketing colossus Ben Stokes, telling his incredible sporting achievement along with his pals this summer, just gone on fire, my story of England's summer to remember. He's, of course, odds-on favourite to become the Sports Personality of the Year on Sunday night. James May is currently with us. James, catch portrait James May in Amazon Prime Videos. The Grand Tour presents a Seamen from today, and the brand new series James May, Our Man in Japan, drops all 6 episodes, 6 1-hour episodes, January the 3rd, 2020. Michael, who's just been listening to Michael, author of the smash hits Moneyball and The Big Short, and this latest one. It's a frightening read. It's one of those, it's like watching a horror film. You know, do you want to make yourself that scared via a book? Because it's there. The Fifth Risk, and people are loving it. Snow Patrol also with us. 2 more live songs from Snow Patrol still to come. Anthemic Powerhouse's Snow Patrol's 25th anniversary album Reworked is out now, and their UK tour continues on Sunday night in Brighton. You'll be reading this book, won't you, James May?
I am going to read that book, yes. I think that sort of thing is fascinating. Is it available in electronic format, me being such a modern man these days?
Yes, you can even get it in audio format, so you don't have to read.
Perfect.
Do you read it yourself?
No, not any. I used to read all my books, but now they give them to actors. They don't.
You've got a great voice. You've got an amazing voice.
They don't trust the writers anymore.
We had Malcolm Gladwell in last week, and he loves his audiobooks now. He loves his audiobooks more than his physical books. And what he started to do is, if he has a story about history, about a person from history, he goes back to the speech they made, and the speech is in there, the actual audio of it.
I've listened to it.
all very
He's a
cool.
friend, and I watched him do the book, and it's very effective. The characters come to life.
It's great, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, and Noel Fitzpatrick is here. Noel, you writing another book?
Yeah.
Can you tell us?
That's the plan over Christmas,
tell us
yeah.
anything? Oh, what a lovely way to spend your Christmas! Writing your book, because you never sleep,
Yeah.
you idiot.
It's how a dog would see the world today,
By the
which
way-
might be a little more sensible than what we just heard about.
Michael, this is Noel Fitzpatrick, who's Professor Noel Fitzpatrick.
I know.
Soon to be Professor Sir Noel Fitzpatrick.
No, not anytime soon.
How do you know?
Oh, well, how do you know?
Because they phoned me and asked me.
Oh, great.
Would he be any good
Great.
as a knight of the realm?
Great.
I said no, but they said, well, you know. You're in the minority as far as that's
Yeah, we're
concerned.
just going to talk about how dogs would do things differently and bring joy to the world. And actually look at forgiveness and look at unconditional love and look at currencies that actually matter in the world as opposed to what people get divorced from because they're attached to money, ego, power and glory.
Okay, and it's your birthday today?
Yes, my birthday today.
Okay, and you've come to... You're not
I've
a guest.
only come to see Snow Patrol, that's it.
Right, and how are you celebrating the rest of your birthday?
I'm going to get them to sign this album, and that's it. That's it. I'm just going to sit in a room all day. No, I'm not. I'm going to go and play Santa.
Are you?
Yeah, the Santa Leprechaun of Love.
You know how radio works. Can you get near the microphone?
Oh yeah.
You know
The
this.
microphone.
You
Oh,
know
yeah.
this, for heaven's sake. So you're going to
It's
get
just
some
too relaxed.
signed vinyl. Yes?
Yeah, that's it. That's all I'm here for.
That was mine.
I know. I just stole it.
Okay. Well, happy birthday.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
That's amazing.
Where'd you play your vinyl?
In a record player.
Oh, don't be like this. Tell me that's a James May answer. I know that. What kind of turntable do you have? Where is it? Is it part of a stack system? Is it in the garage? Actually, you know, I don't care. James, where'd you play your vinyl?
On my record player. It's a mine's in a special cupboard in the hallway that you open up, and it's a stack system with big speakers, and it's old. I've had it a long time.
It's just like all souped up like one of those cars.
Right. No, it's not. It's plain. It's simple.
You have vinyl, don't you, in your life?
Emily's room.
Okay, that's nice.
She thought it looked really cool, so basically nicked it.
Vinyl?
No,
No.
it's all right.
No, I don't have vinyl either.
Really?
No, I do have vinyl. I have vinyl in the garage on a rubbish record player, but I went on eBay, didn't I? You know this. Went on eBay a couple of weeks ago to get a Kenwood stack system, separate stacks, 379 quid. Sent the money to the escrow account. Bloke disappeared, and the stack system with it.
No way.
Yes, way. Yes, flipping way.
Well, you're in luck because Snow Patrol have issued this on vinyl, cassette, and CD.
Oh, have you got it on cassette? Have you got it on cassette?
He has it on 4 different colours of
Have you got it
cassette.
on cassette? Honestly,
We have got it on cassette.
He has 4 different colours.
I cleared out my cassettes last night.
Did you get rid of them?
No, I just cleared them from one place to another.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got
They're
it on
coming
cassette
back. Coming
player?
back in a big way.
Have you got a new cassette player?
No, I just got a car. My cars have got cassette players in. They don't have anything else.
Awesome.
Well, they're radio, but you know.
Awesome. Cassette is on the way back.
Yeah.
Yeah. You do have
we'll
4
get you
different
a
colours,
cassette
by the
then.
way, just
What's
to let
that?
you know.
We'll get you a cassette then.
Thanks very much. Do you have any vinyl in your life, Michael?
My wife does. She's an aficionado. As for me, I don't mourn the death of vinyl. It's probably a measure of my soullessness that I don't care.
You've been writing about Donald Trump for too long.
Yeah,
there
no,
still is a sunny horizon to be had.
Yeah, no, I like
don't
my
mourn
music
it.
out of my phone. I just take it right out of my phone.
I agree with you actually, but there's something ritualistic about vinyl that I like. I like
Takes you back to your childhood.
part of it, and I like
beautiful
the car-
thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Look
at this
at it.
beautiful
Double
thing.
gatefold.
It's
Double
look at all these pictures of these
double
men as
bubble.
boys. It's
And it reminds you of a time when music was incredibly precious and could be lost, because in the old days when you had records, you could, they could wear out or you could scratch them.
Yeah.
But that's not a problem anymore, which is great. But I think we valued it more. When we
the
had vinyl,
physical
because-
beauty of the thing.
Yeah, it was like an
Can I-
artifact.
Can I just say, I agree with you, but we're sounding a bit dusty and crusty.
Yeah, you're
Okay.
right.
Okay, got to move on. No, what are you doing?
Just playing with the record.
You're supposed to play them, not play with them.
I just love it. I love it.
Were you smelling that? Were you
Yeah,
having a joint
records-
smell?
Records have a great record covers.
We were smelling it.
Oh,
and
it's
enjoying
fabulous.
the physical experience of this beautiful Snow Patrol record.
All right, good. Should we have some more live Snow Patrol?
Yeah.
Okay, Snow Patrol, Chasing Cars now from the 2006 album Eyes Open. Okay, this is a treat for you. This is Chasing Cars live, unplugged-ish from the top of the tower with Snow Patrol just a few feet away. Lovely. Just it gets better, doesn't it? It gets better. Don't you think? How's it for you, though? It gets better for us. How's it get for you? How's it for you?
Well, it's nice to have done the reworked and to play the normal live show and then do the rework show and then do the acoustic trio. So every time we play, it's like a different version of
You
it.
can re-engage with it.
Yeah, absolutely,
and you
yeah.
have to do that, don't you? I suppose. Okay, well done, Gary and Nathan and Johnny. You got one more song. Well, he has. We can go to the bar, can't we? This is how it is. Okay. So, any tickets left for any of these gigs before 17th of Jan? No.
Sorry.
Because people are
Brilliant.
They'll be listening this morning, aren't they? Going,
Brilliant.
Oh, I've got to go and see Snow Patrol. Could you extend now if you wanted to? Could people if this is sort of feeding frenzy, which there will be after this, could you just go? Oh, we'll do another 30 dates, or could you do that?
No, because we've been on tour since for 2 years solid now, so we're going to take a bit of time
But
off.
what's a third?
What's another 30 days?
Yeah.
Out
of 2 years.
You're right. Okay, let's do it.
Oh, it's great to have you here, James. Are you still playing? You'd like to? Tinkle the old ivories?
Yeah, not enough, to be honest. It's one of those things I keep saying I'll get back into, and I've become one of those people who's sort of reasonably good at a lot of things, but not particularly good at anything, which I despise in myself.
But that's the thing. Well, don't do that. But that's the thing. When you're a kid, you do have the time to become good at something, don't you? Because you have time to spare. That's the thing. But if you go off and spend 3 months in Japan, and
yeah,
they're pipe dreams, aren't they? I suppose.
Completely.
Yeah.
It's something to save up for retirement.
How good are you on the piano?
These days, pretty poor. I was quite good when I was in my 20s.
Could you play a Christmas song?
Could I play it?
Yeah.
No.
Keyboard over.
No.
Come on!
No, I can't even remember "O Come All Ye Faithful." It's G major, isn't it?
What's G major?
Yeah, there you go. No, I don't do that. Yes, it's in abeyance.
Okay,
it's on the back burner.
We've got an electric piano here. We have an e-piano. We are flirting with having a conversation. We're not on for much longer about e-cars because you now have 2, don't you?
Yeah, I've got 3 actually.
3. Okay.
Yeah,
Did you
if
ever
you'd like
think?
one.
Did you ever think there would come a day when you would embrace? Because you really have embraced 3 electric cars in your life.
Well, I think we've always known, this is a complicated subject, we've known since the early 20th century, or even the late 19th century, that electric motors are a sensible way to drive a car, because they're simple and they're quiet and they're clean and all the rest of it.
The first London buses were electric motors.
Yes, exactly. I mean, the electric cars outnumbered all other types of car in America in about 1910, in New York, full of electric cars. The problem's just been electricity. But the way I see it is, I mean, my main interest is the future of the car and where it might go. And, I mean, I've got 1 hydrogen car, 1 battery electric car. They've both got electric motors in, which I think will probably be part of the solution. And the other thing is, we've been talking about the environment and green issues with the Grand Tour and so on. If you put all that aside, let's imagine that global warming turns out to be a myth. All the things we're doing in the pursuit of dealing with it, like quieter, more reliable cars, less junk in the ocean, a nicer environment in cities, sustainable energy, infinite recyclability, all these things, we'd still want to do them, wouldn't we?
Yeah.
I think, is that fair?
Yeah.
I mean, there's still things that will make our lives nicer and easier. And I'm interested in the car part of it, not really from an environmentalist point of view, although that's obviously why it's there. But it's because what is the future of the car? There's no point being entrenched and dwelling on the past of it, because that's going to fade away.
When did you get rid of all your single plastic in your house? Because you had this big clear out, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. I threw it all away.
In one day? No,
that was actually a joke. I mean,
so you didn't?
No, I didn't actually throw it away.
I was really pleased that you had.
No, because it would have been silly to gather it all up and throw it away, because then there'd be a load of single-use plastic in the bin. I was being facile.
All right. Sorry. Well, could you not recycle it all, or...?
You've got to make the distinction between single-use and recyclability.
We had a Chinese takeaway last night because we didn't have time to cook because the kids had end of school, then carol concert. And they love Chinese takeaway, and all those mates around.
Quite
it's like
right,
easy. But they all come in the plastic trays. And now we do wash them and we do keep them, but then we forget to take them back to the Chinese to refill them. So now we've got more than they have. So we could actually do a deal with them, a contra deal. We go to this dessert cafe after the carol concert. Single-use plastic everywhere. It's not easy, is it?
No, but I think the future of human happiness is essentially infinite recyclability and sustainable clean energy. Those 2 things. I mean, it's obviously a lot more complicated. I'm doing a Ladybird book version here, but that would allow us to satisfy our need to create and consume, which I think we do have. We want to make stuff, and we want fashion, and we want new cars and new iPads and things. We want all that. But it has to be... those things have to be the temporary hosts of the materials they're made from, so that we can pursue these things without filling the world with junk.
And of course, Donald Trump's all over this, isn't he? He's completely up to speed with this.
Donald Trump is all about having more stuff.
Oh, well, I like having stuff.
He has single-use planes, doesn't he?
Single-use wives.
But I like obsolescence. I think it is right that you get a new mobile phone every year, because it will improve. You don't need a new pair of kitchen scissors every year, because we've sort of sorted the development of those. But obsolescence and replacing things is good because it's progressive, but you have to make them reusable, and it has to be done without affecting. It has to be a net zero, very fashionable expression, I know, but it has to be a net zero operation.
We're carbon neutralising our festivals next year, and they will be completely carbon neutral. Have you thought about that with your tours, Snow Patrol people?
Yeah, we're trying to do that I'm trying to do as much of that as possible.
And are you reducing at source, or are you offsetting and reducing at source?
We're offsetting and trying to figure out a way of reducing the.
Yeah, we do that. So it's good, isn't it? Right, I think we're done. I think we're more or less done. What are we doing for Christmas, James?
I'm staying at home and cooking. I have a gift for you. Sorry, I'm going to be in
Shall I
trouble if I
open it on
don't
the
give it. It's for all three of you, and it's just some pieces of paper. So.
Oh, from Japan.
Yes.
Okay, what do they mean?
They are your names.
Oh, thank you. Did you draw these yourself? Could you write these yourself?
I have done a bit of it. I'd love to say I did those, but those are actually done by a professional. You can tell
Thank you
if
very
you
much.
look
And what would
carefully.
we do? What might we do these? Bookmarks?
Bookmarks, or simply hang it on the wall, because it'll
Firelighters?
be good for firelighters if you like. Yeah. But they're not single-use calligraphy. I should say it's calligraphy because we're on the radio.
It is calligraphy, isn't it? It's gorgeous.
I think it looks beautiful.
Yeah,
so,
it really does.
What are you doing for Christmas
And
now?
it was free.
Seeing my mammy and writing my book.
Good for you, Michael. What are you doing for Crimbum?
Taking wife and children to the beaches of Costa Rica.
Well,
Nice.
we all hate you all of a sudden.
Yeah, you
That's
shouldn't have
not fair.
asked.
I know I shouldn't have
If
asked.
you don't want to know, don't ask.
Carbon footprint of that holiday is?
Huge.
Yeah, okay, massive.
Yeah.
Snow Patrol, what are you doing for Christmas?
Well, just my sisters, eat and drink. That's
Good, that's good. Gary?
Yeah, with my mum.
All right. And
Actually not touring. And,
dear Santa, come
and
back
reading
not
Michael's
tour. Okay, all right, great.